Had to take in that little bit of peace before I even said good morning to y'all. Don't be in a hurry. That's all I got to say. This journey with Jesus is so amazing. That's about the best word that I could use for it. One of the verses that he has me in this season is Isaiah 26:3. And I'll give you just kind of the gist because I don't have it memorized. Something that I need to do probably. But Isaiah 26:3 basically says that God keeps those in perfect peace who are stayed on him. And stayed on him basically just means those that are fixed to him at the hip. Those that continually rely on him. Those that continually go to him with anything and everything. Those that invite him in the normal life that we live. In the ins and outs of this life that we live. You know, whether it be making this delicious cup of coffee, choosing what mug to use for this cup of coffee, what clothes to wear, when we should be doing this or that. It gets detailed because you want to share everything with Jesus. Not that he's got a gun to your head. Not that he's got this super strict requirement, because we're free from the law, y'all. We're free to be loved by Jesus for love's sake, period. We still have rules to follow. And they're not even rules. They just become a way of life. But when we are stayed on Jesus, we have perfect peace regardless of our circumstances. Sometimes, like me and my boy Jerry Lee, we had a falling out at the beginning of March. It's been almost a month. It's been over 3 weeks now that we haven't shared a word together. Both of us prideful individuals, wired the same. Two totally different backgrounds, two totally different sides of the world. But from day one, this is your brother. This is somebody that you can always go to, that you can always count on. This is somebody that shares the same heart that you share. And then there was a falling out. And it wasn't a falling out. Again, the Lord gives those perfect peace that are stayed on him. Even in the midst of it all, I didn't lose any sleep over the disagreement, the argument that we had. We almost went to fisticuffs, but that would have never happened. We would have never got, not fisticuffs. Yeah, we're Lord's got us more protected than that, a little bit more sound-minded than that, a little bit more, a little smarter than that. He's only going to let it go so far before he says no, stop it, right? And so these last 3 weeks have been interesting. I've missed my boy because he's my man, one of the best friends, best. The Bible says that there's going to be people out there that will be closer to brothers, right? You can't even explain it. He's not my blood brother, but he's my spiritual brother, but he's closer than a brother. And but I've trusted God. I've always had it in my heart, this too shall pass, right? People say that all the time in all sorts of different things. This too shall pass. Whether they believe it or not, it is what it is. But I believed it. The Lord had it in my heart. I got the 100% truth. I have the Creator of the universe living inside me, and I am stayed on Him. And so when He said everything's going to be okay, everything's going to be okay. Y'all just need some time apart, because not necessarily the fact that you guys get all riled up with each other, and it has nothing to do with that. But what had to happen because He had to work on my boy Jerry Lee on his end, and He had to work on me on my end. He had to take my boy Jerry Lee as a distraction away from me so he could focus on another area of my life or other areas of my life. And the same thing with Jerry Lee. He had to take me out of Jerry Lee's life so Jerry Lee could focus on the things the Lord wanted him to focus on. Which a lot of times, for me, it's mainly on Him. It's just holding tighter to Him. Trusting Him, period. That's it. And so the good news is that the Lord put it on my heart this morning to reach out to Jerry Lee. Hit the call button on the phone, and the Lord said, no. How do you guys normally talk? You guys normally talk on video call. So call that boy up with a video call. And as soon as I call my boy up, he's looking at me. He's trying not to smile, like he's trying to have a hard face. My boy ain't like that. Not to me, he's not, right? So it only took it took less than a minute for him to start smiling, and he said, "Man, I'm mad," and this, and it was all an act, right? He was glad to hear from me, and I was glad to hear from him. It was like we didn't skip a beat, and the Lord, no one can tear apart what the Lord's brought together. And the Lord brought this bond between Jerry Lee and I together. I can't take it apart. He can't take it apart. Nobody can take it apart. When he's got 100% truth living in him, I got 100% truth. We are living our lives out for Jesus, and that's it. So we have to slow down and take it in. We have to, little by little, put our trust in Jesus. Put a little bit more trust. I guess you could say it's like a savings account, right? The more that you put in there, them high yield, accounts, they grow interest. Anyways, this is the fruit that's produced. We did not skip a beat. It only took 2 minutes for us to blah, 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 blah. And we didn't even have to do all that. The Lord's got him past it. The Lord got me past it. Everything is good. Back on point. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. But it takes trusting in God. It takes not leaving God. Both of us were with God when we had our argument. It was a test. He could have snapped off. I could have snapped off. Right? Like I said, I ain't ever going to talk to that dude again. I could have harbored bitterness and resentfulness and unforgiveness, but I forgave him a long time ago. Like right after it happened. There were some things in my mind that I kept arguing with God back and forth with. In my heart, I was arguing back and forth. But this and that, and this and that, and this and that, and respect, and this and that, and disrespect, and this and that, and he was probably saying the same stuff. Kept arguing with God. And then as time went on, within the first week, I was done with it. But I ain't gonna call Jerry Lee. Skip that noise. Skip that. I called him the last time. He needs to call me. Still pride, right? But God, at the right time. We will not know the day or the hour that has significance at the end of times, at the end of our life, our actual physical life in the world. but it has to do with anything and everything that we have. Anything and everything that we have going on in this life. We will not know the time or the hour that God works. That God does what he does. We just have to remain steadfast and persevere through trials. And fruit will be produced. Our bond, the bond between Jerry Lee and myself, will be stronger now than it was. We've learned to appreciate, we're learning to appreciate our bond, our friendship, our love for one another. And there's nothing that can tear us apart because we have the love of Jesus in us. And as long as we listen and learn, and obey and love, right? As long as we continue to do that, the Lord's going to elevate us. The Lord's going to use us in different ways. He's going to use these stories that we have. I say these stories, but these experiences that we have to encourage others. You know, I was going to read today's Faith Alone daily devotional this morning, but I think I'm going to save that for this afternoon. This is enough to soak in. Like I said, I've been at peace. And I know my boy's been at peace too. He hadn't, meaning he still goes on and lives, he's gone on to live his daily life, and right? And he's not walking around, he hasn't been walking around with a scour on his face. The Lord's kept him in perfect peace during this time. And the Lord's kept me in perfect peace. But it's taken us, and the Lord wouldn't have separated us if we weren't ready to be separated. There was a slight thought in my mind, a very, very brief moment, that, man, he might snap off. Right? Meaning snap off, meaning regress, meaning go back to the world sort of stuff, but it's very slight. And the Lord kind of like chuckled at me and said, "Nah, ain't gonna happen. I got your brother. Don't trip. There ain't anything you gotta do. Right? Just focus on me now." We're not to rely on anybody in the world, anything, anybody, anything, any place, anywhere. Nothing tangible. We're not supposed to rely on anybody. And this was an opportunity for both of us to draw closer to Jesus. So just to rely on him. And in the end, right, it's just like we just had time apart, is all it was. It was just, to me, I mean, don't get me wrong, there was times where, it's like I miss my boy. And I know he's already shared with me this morning, there was time that he missed me, right? But we're back in action. Watch out for Tom and Jerry, y'all. Watch out for Tom and Jerry. Force to be reckoned with. So, anyways, I love y'all. I truly, truly do. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Hope this encouraged some of y'all out there. Have a blessed, blessed, blessed day.